Last week, Theo Walcott made a £20 million move from Arsenal to Everton, which led to Aaron Lennon leaving Everton for Burnley. Both players have had very good careers, with 613 Premier League appearances between them, and a good number of England caps to boot. However, there was a time when both were tipped to have really special careers, and do more than they have to this point. It's a problem within English football that our press like to build young footballers up, only to knock them down. As such, there are no shortage of options for this seven. There are players like Jack Wilshere, who was labelled as the nation's next great hope, but injuries and a lack of consistency have prevented him from ever reaching those heights, currently aged 26. Others, like Manchester City's Michael Johnson, saw injuries not just hamper, but end their careers for good. Here are our 7 overhyped English footballers. Jose Baxter. A regular in England's under-16 and 17 sides, Jose Baxter was a player touted for big things from a young age. A bright and technical attacking midfielder, he became Everton's youngest ever debutant in 2008, aged 16. It was around that time that he started being talked about as a future England international, despite never having made a real impact on a first team game. Over the next 4 seasons, he played only 7 league games for the Toffees. The last few years have seen Baxter play some decent football in League One with both Oldham and Sheffield United, but he was released by the Blades following a failed drugs test. The 25-year-old is now back at Everton as he looks to revive his career. David Bentley. A right-sided midfielder with a wicked cross and a real ability from dead ball scenarios, comparisons with David Beckham were all too easy when David Bentley began to introduce himself to the English footballing public. He failed to break into the first team at Arsenal, but starred for Blackburn Rovers as a 20-year-old. 3 excellent seasons at Ewood Park saw Bentley make a big money move to Tottenham, win a handful of caps for England, and be touted for greatness once more. He fell out of love with the game in North London though, and the 2010-11 season was the last in which he played any meaningful football. He officially retired in 2014, aged 29. Tom Cleverley. The player with the brightest looking career in this 7 right now, Tom Cleverley is still playing Premier League football, currently with Watford. As with every player in this 7, Cleverley was an England youth international, and a promising one at that. I can remember being at Wembley when he came on with Manchester United, trailing 2-0 to Manchester City at half-time in the Community Shield. He played brilliantly as United fought back to win 3-2, then aged only 21. It was easy to see why people had high hopes for the midfielder, but his performances steadily declined at Old Trafford, leaving English football fans in disbelief as he racked up 13 caps for the national team. Cleverley is still only 28, but it seems unlikely he will reach the heights once predicted of him, or even return to the England setup for that matter. Josh McEachran. Another central midfielder, Josh McEachran was seen as the golden boy of Chelsea's academy at one time. He won 38 caps for England at youth level, as a tidy and intelligent midfield player. Like most youngsters at Stamford Bridge, he went out on loan a number of times. His progress seemed to stall though, and he continued to be a bright prospect even once he was into his 20s. He finally left the Blues in 2015 to join Brentford, where he remains now, aged 24. Jack Rodwell. Like David Bentley and Tom Cleverley, Jack Rodwell hasn't just been capped by England at youth level, but also in the senior side. An energetic and robust midfielder in his early days, Rodwell played in Europe with Everton at just 16, and made a move worth a potential £15 million to Man City in 2012. Roberto Mancini probably thought he was getting himself a solid and dependable player who'd help City meet homegrown player quotas. Rodwell barely played though, and he was soon shifted on to Sunderland for £10 million. Since then, the 26-year-old has been utterly dreadful. Sunderland fans have had their fair share of rubbish players in recent times, but even they consider Rodwell to have been especially dreadful. John Bostock. I once had a conversation with a former Premier League manager who had just brought John Bostock to his club. He and his scouting team were incredibly excited, boasting that the lad's got everything. It seemed that way with Bostock, who was physically and technically very good from a young age. He became Crystal Palace's youngest ever player at just 15, and he moved to Tottenham only a year later. Bostock had 5 loan moves away from Spurs though, and things never quite clicked. Questions have been asked of his attitude, but he has gone off and played in Belgium and now France, aged 26, as he looks to recover his career. Francis Jeffers. The 4th former Everton player in this 7, Francis Jeffers takes top spot. He broke into the Everton team at 16, and scored 20 goals in 60 games for the club as a teenager. That prompted Arsene Wenger to fork out an initial £8 million with a potential £3 million in add-ons for the striker, back when that was actually a hefty amount of money in football. Arsenal won a League and Cup double in his first season, but he played only 6 league games, struggling to dislodge the likes of Dennis Bergkamp, Sylvain Wiltord and Thierry Henry. It was a similar story for the rest of his time at Arsenal, and moves to Charlton, Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday followed, as Jeffers tumbled down the leagues and never realised that fox in the box tag that he'd been given at a young age. So that's it for our 7, but some honourable mentions can be found in the video description below. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC7s.